Hey friends, Maloa here, and today I have a very special treat for you. I am sitting down with the producers, directors, cast, crew of the Brandywine Theater Company, specifically the Frozen production. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
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 Hi.
We have been working on the show now for a couple of months. It will be going live in game on the Glamdring server May 8th and 9th. Starting time is 8 p.m. Eastern server time. And so we invite everybody to come participate and watch that show. It's going to be awesome. And here with more details, I'm going to hand it over to our lovely director, Kay.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I'm directing this show. I also did the adaptation along with Miloa's help. He was very, very helpful with that. And I also play Anna. This is going to be a very exciting show with lots of great costumes, lots of great sets, fantastic acting, and the other people will tell you all about that.
Endo, what can you tell us about the costuming?
That there was a lot of them. We did, Mally and I are the costume team for BTC, and this show was one of the more intense ones that we've done so far. I think I counted 60 different costumes rounded off. Might be a little bit more.
60
And
costumes?
yes, different ones. Yes.
Wow. Is that
Yeah, it was that many. That was the most we've ever had to do, but it was not a chore. It was a challenge that we loved.
excellent? Hildy, what can you tell us about the set?
The sets. This is a show that's we're really taking it up to 11 here with the sets and the set pieces. We've basically taken everything we've learned from doing BTC shows in a kid house. We've taken everything from Phantom, Rocky, Fiddler, all the other shows we've done, and we've put it all together and turned it into a very big, friendly monster. I think it's going to look amazing. Thando and I are the set techs for this show, and it's pretty intense what we're doing back there. So, but it's a lot of fun, and I promise all the viewers the sets are very lush. You're gonna love it. Come and see the show. The sets are amazing.
Tannis, what can you tell us about the music?
Well, the music in this show is just been, a challenge, like everybody else has been saying with the other portions of this show that we've been putting together. But I think it's probably one of the best music we've had. The amount of work that went into getting the music ready has been a real big challenge, but it's also paid off. I mean, we've got some fantastic music. I have to say that this is the first time we've done an actual faithful adaptation of the actual Broadway production of a Disney show. So we are not doing like a straight or just like an adaptation that we come up with on our own. We're actually doing all of the music that was in the Broadway production of Frozen, which does include music from the original animated movie. But because we're doing the Broadway show, it had many more songs that weren't in the original animated movie. So we had to have so many songs commissioned to be made that we could adapt. And because of that, this is the show that had the most amount of new music and MIDI that we had to work through to prepare for the show. So another first and a big milestone there for the number of songs that we brought into a show. And I have worked with Quinn as the music director. Quinn has been great at reaching out to talk to our cast and crew members that have volunteered to make arrangements of the versions of the files that we actually use in the game for the live show, and working with Quinn and also working with Kay to make sure that the music is to the way that the music should be performed in the show, that it makes sense for the performance that Kay's looking for as a director. So working with Kay and Quinn on this big challenge of getting the music prepared and ready has been a lot of work, but also a lot of fun. We've just been having a blast getting it ready. So everybody comes and checks it out and see and hear all the music and hard work that we've been putting into it.
Cool. And Bijan, how's the reception from the community been so far?
Okay, so I'm the executive producer here for BTC. We have the other two producers are with us as well. It's Kay and Tanis are our other two producers. I have not been terribly involved in the actual production of this show. I'm just playing Kristoff. But I wanted to point out, if you go around and look, we have Dragon Forge, and we have Roses and Thorn, and we have Goblin Fire, and we have the Bards, the Wandering Bards, and we have BTC. And this is just the folks here. If you look at the rest of the cast, we span many kins on the server, and we've got tremendous participation. This is not just a BTC label on it. We've got many kins involved, and my interface is to the LOTRO community at large on not just Glamdring, but Sting and Peregrine and Meridak, to figure out that there's so many events in the community at large, and we have a cooperative scheduling. I'm engaged in that cooperative scheduling to make sure that we're not going to be stacked up against, say, a Weatherstock or some other major event, because we want people, and people do travel from all the other servers with great anticipation to our BTC productions. Our infamy, well, no, notoriety. Our notoriety is gaining with each show, and there is lots of anticipation for folks to travel to Glamdring to see our shows. So I think we've come a long way in our 5 years or 4 years or however long it's been, and we are, I dare say, a tour de force.
And Quinn, can you tell us what it's been like to play Elsa?
Hello, it's been an absolute dream come true. I get to really put all of this magic together with the costumes and the special effects and the stage coming together. It really truly feels like I am doing magic. Besides all of the actual in-game magic I get to do this time. So this has been a blast to practice, and I can't wait to get to perform it for everyone.
Excellent. Kay, typically with the BTC shows, we expect nothing but perfection, but every single show, you guys always try to one-up what you did last time. So what is the specific focus of this show to level up?
Well, we've been doing shows in our own personal theater for a couple of shows now, and that gives us a lot of flexibility that we didn't have when we were performing, say, on the Bree Festival stage. So with the ability to manipulate the set pieces, I wanted to take the set work higher than we'd ever done before. And to do that, I had to have a really excellent set tech team. Hildy is our set tech lead. It's basically her responsibility that everything is in the right place at the right time. She has the able assistance of Thando, and between them, there are a lot of set changes. We moved from outside to inside to snowy forests to ice palace, and all of these sets involve multiple pieces moving on split-second timing. So I'm very, very proud of what our set team has accomplished. And I think when you come to see the show, you will be absolutely blown away at some of the effects that we've managed to do. Also, like Tanis pointed out, the music for this show is just about the best we've ever done. Also, as Thando pointed out, the sets, I mean, the costumes are amazing. 60 different costumes. Many people are playing multiple roles, and they have different costumes for the different roles. And if you think about 60 costumes, how many individual pieces is that? Unbelievable. And every single one sourced with an eye to what's going to make the show look good. Can we get it? Can the person equip it? And I am so grateful to have such an amazing team. The other thing is, this is a very big cast. We have grown, and more people want to be involved, and we always make sure that anybody who wants to be involved in the show gets to be involved in the show. I think we have 29 people in this show. We have so many that we had to figure out a way to share the timer window for people who weren't in the raid, because not everyone would actually fit in a raid with a 10-piece band. So those are a couple of things that are new and different and more exciting for this show. And all I can say is come and watch. I did want to add one more thing. If you want to come and watch from another server, we have the wonderful Wandering Stars kin, who will help you get situated, get you some clothes, get you port to near the theater, and you can check out the Wandering Stars kinship to get involved with that if you need to come from another server.
Excellent. All right. So are you guys ready to play the Chaos Wheel?
I am.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
ready.
So, as my audience knows, this is Chaos Protocol, which means we will be spinning the wheel to see what we're doing. We won't be doing anything back to back, and this is a special wheel that Kay and I designed for BTC. So let's see. I'm gonna spin it. Let's see what we get. First up, of course, the blooper reel. So I'm gonna hand that over to Kay.
Actually, I'm going to hand it over to Bijan because he's got some ideas.
All right,
Okay.
Bijan.
All right. So with the blooper reel, and I sent you some. This is a great segue for what I sent you earlier.
Mhm.
We had a blooper during Phantom 2024 where Tanis was the director, and during one of our rehearsals we were all in costume. It might have been a dress rehearsal, I can't remember, but no, it was a full run, and he had his back to everybody up on it, and during the count in 3 2 1, instead of everybody dancing, we all called up our pond frog, and I still yeah, there we go. Kay's got up the pond frog. So we called up the pond frog, and his only remark was, "I hear frogs."
I didn't see them, but I heard them.
He did not see them, but he heard of it. We had like 8 of them, and and the interesting thing. Let me call up mine. Okay, so I got my pond frog here. So we 3 2 1. Everybody called it, and the interesting story about the pond frog was that it de facto became the BTC team mascot, if you would, because in a later show where I had done the wall, there was a scene where young Pink and young Vera went to the park on a fun day to fly kites and catch frogs, because that's what little boys do. And so we were able to incorporate that team mascot, the BTC team mascot, into the script as one of the actors. We had a pond, and young Pink kept calling up the frog, and then the frog would disappear just before young Vera could catch it. So they called it up again, and then would disappear, and then, well, um, it was interesting what happened to young Vera. Anyway, so that's one of the blooper reels. You want another blooper?
Yes.
Okay, so the other blooper was um, we had a new new talent to the show. She had done a smaller role in Into the Woods, and we came up. The next show was Aladdin, and we weren't quite sure um, how to cast her. And in one of the biggest miscasting that the directors and producers came up with, and we were thankfully we corrected it. We had miscast an individual into a part that was way beneath her abilities. So we ended up putting this person into a different role that was where she had absolutely excelled in her performance. And I wouldn't even call this a blooper. This was just fate that was smacking the director and the producers upside the head that dummies, this is what you should have done. I was rehearsing Aladdin and I'm rubbing the lamp. And just to get my timing done. So I'm rubbing the lamp and and just the timing of it was you can't write this stuff. It just happened. The timing that as soon as I stopped rubbing the lamp, Hildy logged on. And she had logged off earlier on stage right next to where I was standing. So as soon as I stopped rubbing the lamp, she logged on in costume standing right next to me and she said, "Did you just call me?" I mean, it you can't make that stuff up. It was just, and that's when fate spoke to me. And is that a blooper? I don't know. That's not a blooper, but that was fate speaking to me that we made the right choice at putting Hildy into the role of Genie, and she absolutely excelled and has become a star in BTC. So
Ex- Excellent. All
Thank you.
right. Let's see where the wheel takes us next. Directing. Okay, I'm going to hand that over to you.
Okay, well, I would like to point out that Maloa, who has been involved with BTC, I think pretty much from the get-go with interviewing and doing filming for us, decided that she wanted to take on a little bit more. So for this show, she is our stage manager, which is a huge task, but she's also assistant director. So Maloa, what was it like being an assistant director?
It was very overwhelming when we started because I had no idea how anything worked. Like how the magic that happens on stage actually comes together. And what's blown me away the most is the amount of care and time and dedication goes on behind the scene that many people do not get to experience. Um, and I am very, very fortunate to have been part of Frozen, and I have enjoyed it thoroughly. What would you say, Kay, has been the most challenging directing this show this season?
Well, it's a big show, and I really wanted to do it justice. And like I said, we had a lot of people who wanted to be involved. I put a lot of people on the stage. We had two new actors who've never acted with us before, so that was very exciting to work with them. And there are so many little details. You know, we will run something and we'll realize, oh, this person needs to move over a little bit so that they can be seen, or this dialogue is taking too much time. When in real life, you don't have chat bubbles hanging. We have to work with chat bubbles, and they need to hang in the air long enough for people to be able to read them. And that means we can't speak anywhere near as fast as they do in the show. So when it comes to the adaptation, you've got to go down and find just the essence of what the characters are saying, so that we can fit it into what we can actually do on the stage. And that was very challenging.
Yeah, especially when it's a joke, right? And you've got to have the setup, the execution, and the hook at the end for the joke to land. Um, and you only have so many lines, so many seconds that you need to get it out.
Can I interject just a little bit on directing
Yeah,
here?
go for it.
So this will be, I believe, our 17th show. And in 17 shows, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had 6 directors across 17 shows. Is myself, Kay, Tanis, Quinn, Cody, Rav, and we can really throw in that crew because she's stage manager, assistant director, seeing it up close and personal, and we have we were rookies. I was a rookie coming in. Kay was a rookie coming in, and we have built up a knowledge base amongst BTC, and we have. I think we've got great depth, great bench depth in our production staff here. I and we are willing to share that knowledge with anybody in the future if should they want to go in there. So that's it. And with the goal that we still want to keep raising the bar.
Yeah, I think innovation is the name of the game when you're trying to tackle these types of productions. Because that, you know, I it's almost like that's what the audience has come to expect of BTC, is that every show is going to be, leveling up from the previous show, from the humblest beginnings to where we are today. It's mind-boggling for me to think of how far BTC has come.
We don't say that can't be done. We say we've got to find a way to do it.
Yes,
Exactly.
All right, let's see where the wheel takes us next. Ooh, out in the world. All right, so for this one, I am going to hop on over and I'm gonna magically summons you guys away. I'm gonna whisk you off to a different location.
We
And
don't know where.
you don't know where. No, you don't. And we'll play a little bit of music. So while you guys figure out what song you want to play, I'm gonna set up and get us transported.
You can transport out of the housing area.
I am gonna hop over to my captain and summons y'all out.
We can transport out, I think.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
transport out, and then I'll
Okay.
summon.
Okay.
Kay, I'm gonna toss you lead because I have to swap over to my captain.
Okay.
And to let everybody know, this is completely chaotic. We haven't rehearsed, the band hasn't rehearsed. These people do play together from time to time, but this is all happening live.
I do have the music as of yesterday loaded for the 10 parts.
So do I, and my 3 bots are up if we want them.
Thank you.
So, what song are we doing?
Um,
How about
Go
True
ahead.
Love?
Sure. That's one that's from the Broadway show that people might not be familiar with.
True Love. Which one is that?
6.
Act 2, Scene 6.
Act 2, Scene 6. Okay.
All right. I'm going to lay claim to the Lonely Fiddle. When we get to where are we playing it here?
No, we're going out into the world.
We're waiting for our summonses. And I'm loading my band alts. Thando, how many have you got?
3 are up.
Oh, then I only need one. Okay.
So while we're being summoned, I can just say that during our performances and during our rehearsals, we have a professional orchestra pit that plays all of our music for us because obviously the group of us that you see here today cannot play and act and do all the other responsibilities we have at the same time. So we do have a dedicated orchestra pit that has been doing our not only our rehearsals but also the live performances. That's Panny and his band. So we thank him very much for all his hard work. We also have a standby band who will step in the event of technical difficulties, which does happen from time to time. And that is Crispian and Slammer Time is our backup band. So we do appreciate both of them being available and dedicating their time to this. And they're the ones who actually will be performing, and that's who you hear in the orchestra pit during the show when you come to see it.
Okay, you have lead again, Maloa. Yeah, Penny's band is called Cheery Little Bottoms Companions.
And now I am making you raid assistant so that
Okay. When you switch again.
you can invite your
Oh, okay. Can you make Thando a raid assistant too?
Yes, please.
Okay, and now I am on my captain, trying to figure out what the skill is that I need to use to summon people, because I never do this.
Summoning horn in your inventory.
No, the captain has a skill, don't they?
But you do use a horn. The captain has a special captain horn.
I have a horn. There it is. All right. Let me test.
Don't tell us where we're going. The people that beam in first. Don't. Each person needs to be surprised.
And we
Okay.
need to be out of the
Housing area.
housing area.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work.
Okay. I'm going debris.
Oh, that's a good point. The support.
Bring this over here.
Okay, I should be ready for a summons.
Yep. As am I.
All right, summons incoming.
my Bandalts are in Falathorn and they got the summons.
I think maybe the problem is that my my camera bot is too low level for the area.
That probably is indeed the case. I think you can only summon about 15 levels above, maybe not even.
Are we gonna have a camera bot then?
I will just shoot from my.
Gotcha.
So Quinn, what did you tell us about this location?
Yeah, I was out power leveling with Evie, who is Olaf, so it was kind of fun that Olaf and Elsa were just running around trying to get leveled up, and we stumbled across an area that really reminded me of some of the locations in the movie and in like the Broadway show. So, when you put out a call for locations, I was like, oh, I just happened to be somewhere.
So what did this specific location make you think of from the show?
It makes me think of the scene where Kristoff and Anna are hiking through the wilderness trying to make it up to Elsa's ice palace.
I can
like
be
I-
summoned anytime now.
I feel like I should be wearing something warmer.
Tannis, are you in group?
No, I'm not in the raid if that's what you're asking.
Yes. Are you on Tannis?
Yes. Alright. There you go.
Loris needs a summons too.
Okay.
There he
Hey,
goes.
Bando, you want to go hunt a Mumax?
No. I will kill them all.
You will one-shot them all. Alright, let's see.
Oh, we need one more if I'm gonna sing, because I'll need to not be playing music.
Have you counted me?
I thought I did. I'm not counting Maloa as a musician. Maloa, were you gonna play music?
No.
Okay.
You want to bring on one more bot?
Yeah, I'm going to. Because
Okay.
there's 6 of us, 9, we need 11. So I'm bringing on the other bot. You can tell we didn't practice this.
Oh, that's the whole point, right? Chaos
Yep.
Protocol.
Yep.
Max-
It kind of
maximum chaos.
it goes against the grain where I have been trying to get everything so precise for this show.
So for those who aren't familiar with this location, we are in the middle of nowhere in Foreshell, which is typically northwest of Bree. At least that's how I think of it. And interesting fact is with this ice lake here, you can, if you step in it, you will die in a few seconds because it's that dang cold. So I can understand why this location made Quinn feel like this is the ideal setting for Elsa. Right, I am gonna zoom. All right, Kay, you are able to invite. I assume.
Yeah, I'm waiting for her to log in. Yeah, she's almost in. Okay.
Also assuming you guys are queuing up and all that stuff.
I can take the hand nails on Thando.
And it is True Love. There we go.
Great.
Take a clarinet.
Trying to get this without falling off the bridge. There we go.
Long way down. Be careful.
It is a long way down.
Lilac's ready for a summon.
You should. Okay, 1 second. There we go, Lilac. Yeah, you can stand off to the side. There you
Stand over
go.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got it framed to where the band is to your on the left side of the screen.
Okay.
That way we can see everybody's pretty faces.
Gotcha.
Whenever you're ready, take it away.
We need a
Well,
second clarinet.
yeah, my bot's still getting here.
I gotta make sure that I've got my player music audio settings up as well. Otherwise, I won't be able to player music maxed out.
Yeah, when you come see the show, make sure you have player music on. That will help.
we still need the mountain harp.
I think we're good now.
He's good. She'll click again.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll see it. I see it now. I was late getting in, so that was what it was.
Am I on a good instrument? I didn't have the track sync info window was not fully filled out.
You're on. Yeah, you're on Theorbo. You're good.
You're green.
Okay, I'm ready when you guys are.
I think our music director should start it.
That would be Quinn.
All right. Well, cue music. And I guess you want me to actually start it, not just say it.
That would be great.
That would help. I was like,
it's not
my
voice
timer's not
activated.
moving.
Yeah, I was like, all right, now someone does the magic, right? I've gotten so used to that.
Such chaos.
All right.
You guys stop and start over. Because I do not have chat bubbles on.
Oh, okay.
What not to do when you come to a BTC show.
I can do that.
Okay, can you pop me a line real quick so I can make sure it's turned on now? There we go. Okay, let's start over. Take two.
Okay. Somebody's still playing? Okay.
And don't worry, for those of you who've never been to a BTC show before, we will have an announcer that will run through a checklist of things that you will want to turn on or off to enjoy the experience, such as turning on chat bubbles and player music and things of that nature. We'll make sure that you're set up before the show begins.
Hang on, let me requeue. I didn't realize I was standing under Maloa. There we go.
All
right, I'm ready. Take two.
Cue music. So pretty. That was the perfect taste. So I want to point out to the audience here that the 10-piece band really they do a marvelous job in making the sound feel so full when it comes to these songs. Tannis, can you talk us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Yeah, 10 piece is about the least you would want to go. I mean, we could do more, but we have to kind of balance the raid aspect of it because we can only have 24 people in the raid, and we do use a timer window that pops out to kind of keep everybody all on the same page. So we need to not only have the band in the raid, but we also have to have the cast and crew, at least the majority of them are in the raid, so that we all have the same timer window. So we can't really use many more than 10 pieces in our band, or we wouldn't have enough room for our cast. But 10 does give us the perfect balance. We can have enough instruments to give a nice balance with the vocal lines. We usually use at least two instruments on our vocal lines for every voice that you hear in the show. We also usually have a percussion or two, depending on the song, and then once you fill it out with strings and we use a number of different lutes in combination for piano work, um, and horns for brass, and all. I mean, it's just a very complex system that we use for arranging the music because we have to use the instruments that we have available in the game and do our best to make it sound like the music is supposed to sound. So we have a group of very talented arrangers that help make sure that the music sounds amazing, and it always does. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Let's see where the wheel takes us next, folks. Ooh, raising the bar. So what this one is all about is going into a little bit more detail about what we did in order to raise the bar in this show. And we talked about set tech a little bit before, but this time I'm going to put Thando on the spot and ask him to talk to us about how he upped the game with the costuming.
Oh boy. Well, there are a couple of scenes that took it to another level for us.
Ooh,
For instance,
I know. We gotta make Kay change outfits, and then you have to
yes, that was one of the scenes.
walk us through how that scene goes. And
Anna
how
has to change multiple times in a scene, and we had to set her up so that she could take off or put on a piece at a time. And that was fun assembling the costume. It's pretty outlandish.
so
Hang on.
pick one costume of hers to walk us through it.
How about
Uh,
the
Get ready to
dressing
blush.
scene, Thando?
which one?
The dressing scene. I'm going to point out here that
Oh.
one of the really fun things we did is Thando and Mally are our amazing costume team. And there's a scene where Anna is getting dressed for the coronation, and she's being dressed by these two servant women. And Thando and Mally play the women who dress Anna. And I just thought that was just so fun. And
It
this
is.
is the most costume changes in a row because she gets at, well, let's see, she starts out, I got to remember what's what because I'm not in my script.
In your night clothes first, I think.
Right. So I'm wearing, oh, I don't actually have that on because I'm in my other, but okay, here we go. I start out in my nightgown, and then I get out of bed. Well, and I take off all my clothes. And then I actually have the wrong costume, but we'll fake this. I put on my underdress, and then the servants come up and they pat me, and this dress comes on. So just for that scene, was that 5 different costumes?
4, I think. But yeah, 4 or 5. So that's yeah, that was a challenge. And then, but then the other challenge is on Kay because she has to have the costume slots open for it.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see? Are the new costume slots now available to be
Yes,
purchased?
they are. They are.
They are, but unfortunately, they are not able to be bound by a key, and we use keystrokes. So
I have a suggestion for that for us all. Those new costume slots are your everyday outfits in the game outside of BTC. In the show, for the show slots, because you can hotkey them, those were your first 8 costume slots can be dedicated to that. And then you can hotkey them. But after slot 8 from 9 on, make those your personal ones for when you're playing the game. You could change it at will then, by just opening the panel.
Cool. So you said 60 outfits for this show.
Yeah. Another scene that was fun is not. It's the scene where the king and queen are lost at sea. We use an ensemble cast to simulate the raging ocean, and we have them all dressed in a death shroud and a cloak in different shades of blue, and they simulate the raging ocean, and the king and queen get lost in the ensemble group, and are Lost at Sea, and that's a fun one that we had to do.
Cool. Oh, all right.
Did you want me to show you that one? I
Yeah,
do have
should.
that.
Yes, please. Somebody's like, why is there a whole group of people? Hi. Perfect. I really like that
Yeah.
color.
That's the sea blue, and then we use Evenden blue also, so a nice mix to give the impression of a raging sea.
Cool. Cool.
So that was a fun one. And the other fun one was the hidden folk, or the trolls, or however you wish to refer to them. That was fun to costume. Pabby and Bulldog are the leaders of the hidden folk. They got their own distinct outfits, and then the hidden folk themselves have a fun costume. So on stage, they look great together.
How did you come up with the mask idea for Pabby?
Yeah, that just hit me all of a sudden when I was looking through what we had available to use, and I thought we need to set him apart as the shaman of the group, the one who does the magic, who does the healing, and that mask just seemed to leap out and say, "Use me." so we put that on him, and yes, it looks perfect.
Excellent. All right, let's see where the wheel takes us next. All right, we're going to talk about music production. Tanis, would you mind sharing your screen and showing us a little bit about how music is put together?
Sure. Okay. I'll just share my screen in Discord here then. All right. Just let me know when you're there.
I am there.
Okay. We've been using, as far as like actually arranging and preparing the ABC files, which is what we use in the game. We've been doing that since the very first show, but more recently, though, we have started getting custom MIDIs made for our shows because a lot of the songs we want to perform in the shows just don't have MIDIs available that you can get anywhere. So we do use a service that we commission the work through to get songs that we need for the show. A lot of times, when we get them back, they are like the instrumental part, the accompaniment part is in very good shape, but unfortunately, just the way that they are put together, the vocal lines don't always match up to what we want to sing in the show, or the way that we want to sing it. So there is a fair amount of work that goes into preparing the MIDIs, even after we get them commissioned, so that we can suit them to actually fit the show. So we'll request a number. And like I said before, this is the most number of songs that we ever had commissioned for a show. I think we had 15, was it, Kay? 15 songs that we had.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So, and there were a handful of songs that were already available to purchase. Some of the MIDIs, the more popular ones from the original animated show, we did purchase those MIDIs, the professionally arranged MIDIs that were already made, that were available. So those, of course, were a bit cheaper. But when we get these MIDIs commissioned, they're fantastic quality. But I have one pulled up here in a MIDI player that is a rough cut. It's the raw MIDI that we get when we get them back from getting commissioned. And I'll just play a very short snippet, but you'll notice that it's not too bad. But some of the rhythms and the way that the vocal line is sung is not how it's performed in our show, because we go through and hand edit every word of every line that is sung in the show, not only in the main vocals, but also in the chorus part. So everything that you hear that's being sung in the show, we make it sung the way we want it to be sung by our performers. So That does take a bit amount of work, but I'm going to go ahead and play just a moment, just a short snippet. This is the song that you just heard Kay sing. This is True Love, so not giving anything else away here. You've already heard this one, but let me just play this, and you'll see the vocal line is in the orange here. So let me play a moment of that. Okay, so you can hear like it doesn't sound like it should be sung. The vocal line it's a little bit choppy, a little more broken up. It's not as connected. It doesn't flow. It doesn't sound like somebody's singing. So we have to fix that. We want to make it sound like the music that that we're gonna sing. So I have brought up the one that we have done after we've edited it, and I'll just play that same little snippet that shows how we've edited it and made the notes sound like it's somebody singing the song the way that it should be sung, the way that Kay just sang it, hopefully. So I'll play that very same part again here. So you can hear it sounds a lot more melodic. It sounds like something that we want to perform. So that's just a little sample of what we do. We do that for every song. Even the ones that we purchased that weren't commissioned, we still go through and make sure that all the phrasing and not only that, but we pay attention to the balance and the dynamics. If something should be a little louder here, a little quieter, that's all something that we take a look at. And then once we have a MIDI file, which is the bass music file that we use to do our arrangements from, we pull it into a program called Maestro, which has been very diligently and lovingly updated by who can we give credit to who are the two people that do the updates on Maestro?
Eiffel and
Eiffel.
I don't know the
Elamon.
other one.
Elamon.
Yes.
Elamon, yes. Yeah, Elamon and Eiffel, they do a fantastic job of updating the Maestro application that you're looking at here that we use to do all the arrangements. So this isn't just something that we use in BTC. Pretty much all of anybody who plays music in Lord of the Rings Online is using this or some version of this program to create the ABC files that that LOTRO can actually use in the game. So this makes the music files that we use in the game. And what you're looking at here is that same MIDI that we just polished up and made it show ready. And we have to bring it in here and say, how is this going to play in the game? So I'm not going to demonstrate how we do all the arrangements, but this is you can see all of our instruments that we chose. That these are instruments that are available to us in the game, and these are the instruments that are in the original MIDI file for us to use. And we have to mix different instruments to make the sound the way that we want. So once we have it in here, I can just play what you just heard. This is what converts it over into what would be the game sound, so that what we just played in the MIDI file turns into this. Yep. So, and that's the process. We have to do that for every song in the show. And there are, how many songs do we have in this show, Kay? I should know this offhand.
12 and 9. So
So yeah, 21 songs.
Whew.
Oh
That's
my.
including the curtain call as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of music. I mean, and so a lot of work went into this to make it sound as good as we possibly can. But this is basically what we have to do for every single song, and I would say we take uh, all in all for every single song going through doing the edits and polishing the midis, and I would say we spend a good 5 or 6 hours on every song that you hear in the show, all in. It may even be more than that, but
Mm.
I'm just estimating off the top of my head here. But yep, a lot of work, but we have a lot of fun doing it, and we certainly hope you enjoy it.
Thank you for walking us through all of that. That's absolutely fascinating. Let's see where the wheel takes us next. Let me just X out of this. Let's see. Oh, yay! This is the one I've been waiting for. Backstage tour. Let's all head on over to the Ken house, and then
We won't need the bandouts anymore, right?
we will
Right.
not, no. And then I'm gonna hand it over to Hildy. And we are about to go show you guys all the behind the stage backlot tour of the entire stage that we designed for this, without giving away too many of the surprises. Let me see what I want to do here. Graphics. Do this again. Back in. Okay, I'm gonna actually I can handle that. That's fine.
You know, you add up all those hours with music preparation. You add up all the hours with costuming. You add up all the hours with the stage tech. You add up all the hours with the scripting. You add up, and it goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And 10
tremendous
weeks of
amount of
rehearsal.
hours of, and the time investment is incalculable.
I'd like to say something on that subject, and it is a tremendous amount. Before we even start rehearsals, there is a pre-production team putting the script together, just like even the basic bare bone of the script, uh, months and months ahead of time of when we start rehearsing. So it is a lot of work with everything that Thando just mentioned. A lot of work goes into it, and it is, some serious work to do. But we always work in collaborations. It's we don't have just one person that's doing all of the work. We work in teams, and I have to say, just for all the shows I've been involved with, and even what the work I've done in this show, working with the people that I've worked with, and I think that all of us can say the same thing, has just been a blast. I have so much fun. It never feels like work to do the things that we're doing. Of course, we're all doing this for fun. So no matter how much work goes into it, we're collaborating. We're having a great time. It's always a good time. I really appreciate, like, with my part doing the music, I'm working with Quinn and Kay on quite a bit of this, and I've had fun. At least can't speak for them, but I always enjoy my time that I'm getting together to work on this stuff with people. So we definitely have a great time putting the shows together, and trying to be creative, and figure out ways to do things that you really shouldn't be doing in a game that was never designed to be doing live musical theater. But that's part of the fun. That's part of the creative process. It's not just being creative and performing a show, but being creative and figuring out ways to actually do a show where you really shouldn't be able to do a show. So
Well, I think we all do it because, and I speak for myself, but I think I speak for everybody else here that we all do it because we're passionate about this.
Exactly. It's a lot of work, but it's a very enjoyable work, and then it's very satisfying because we always create something that we think, at least, the audience will enjoy, and we enjoy, and we get to make a movie out of it afterwards.
And when the curtain goes up opening night, the payoff is there. It is such an emotional high to have that curtain go up, or in our case, the curtain goes down, and Hildy's going to talk about the curtain going down and curtain going up.
So to give you guys an idea, I'm riding through the neighborhood now. We're going to go up to the kinship house. If I may ask a question, why did y'all decide to use the dwarven area for this, for the set, for the stage?
It had the most hooks.
At the time.
yeah,
Yeah, at the time.
and it also had a large enough area to build a theater inside.
Yeah, we needed the
Um,
space. Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
there had to be hooks. There had to be, and it was lit the correct way. If you build out the interior in the right way, it could be dark enough that you could use theater lighting. Well, the way we use it.
We've done shows outside where you can't have any set pieces. We've done shows in other limited venues. This one has given us the most freedom and the most ability to stretch our muscles for creativity.
All right, I am riding now up into the kinship house, and y'all can see our lovely theme of ice and snow. This feels like Christmas in July, but I'm coming through the doors now. And here you are in the entranceway. Hildy, where are you at?
I am just up here in the main house section. So,
All right. I am here. Commence the tour.
all right. So this is our house and main basic stage here for Frozen. Thando and I are usually the ones who look after setting up the basic stages and everything, and a lot goes into those types of processes. So talking to the directors, and so what's your vision for what this show is going to look like? What's your basic idea? And then we build the sets off of that. So what we've got here is your basic, this is the starter set. And this is a rather interesting stage. The BTC pioneered this style of stage with the Rocky Horror Show last October, where we're not down on the actual floor of the kinship house. This is actually a raised platform here, made out of multiple floor sections. So you heard us mention talking about the pit down below. We will get down there eventually, but first let's have a look at what this set actually is. So up here on the stage, we have 3 different entrances to come on. We have 2 side stages here, and we also have this lovely door. So actors can come off and on the stage from either side. It's all specified in your scripts where you will come on and off. And this is the set that we use to start the show, the Arendelle Palace. So if you come back here, now we get to start to see how things are constructed. There's a little staircase back here for the actors to go up and down when they're getting onto stage left. And if you come even further down, now you get to see the place where I, as a lead stage tech, get to spend most of the show. Down here. I don't know, Maloa, if you're able to see the decoration hooks on your character.
Let me see.
But-
No, not on this character.
Okay. So all the action for the set text really happens down here. The band is also positioned down below, and that gives us a nice advantage in that we can have the band a lot closer to the audience than we would under a classic stage setup where they have to be behind the back wall of the stage. Here they can actually be directly under the stage floor. You can see the wooden floor pieces here. That's where the audience is sitting. And up above us, where those dwarven platforms are, that's the floor of the stage itself. So the band is kind of parked here, nice and close to the audience, but down below and out of sight. And also here, this is where all the furniture hooks are. And this is where Thando and I slot the set pieces and move them up and down to make sure that each scene gets the appropriate set pieces. So for instance, Thando and I can actually do a quick demonstration of how that will work by setting up the girl's bedroom. So if you would like to go back up into the audience section, Thando and I will actually give you a little demonstration of popping those things up in position.
You going stage left and I'm going right?
Yep.
Okay.
I added permissions for your camera character too, if you want it, so you can see the hooks.
Thank you.
Oh, the bed is not in the right position.
Do you have the snowy tree, Thando?
Yes.
Let's do the snowy tree and the snowman.
All right, what scene will be the tree?
The snowy tree and the snowman, that would be the troll village. Act 2, Scene 3.
2, 3,
And while we're talking about this, Thando and I, we have scripts as we're acting as well, but all of our set text stuff is also listed in our scripts. So that way we don't have to click around desperately looking at one thing. Now we have to do lines. Now we have to do set tech. It's all put together for us in our scripts. So we just seamlessly move from our lines, off stage, set tech.
Oh, there's one more thing. I have
Yep.
I have to reset my screen.
Yep.
And Hildy, why don't you explain about the mouse position tool that we use?
Of course. So the what really makes this magic happen is we have a little application that we use that tracks your mouse position on the screen down to the pixel. This is how fine the tuning is for it. It is
Yes.
definitely fine tuning. How tightly this has to occur. So each set piece in this show gets what I call a position mapped. So when we have to move a set piece into position, it has to have its x-axis and its y-axis mapped out, so we know exactly how to place it on the stage. We open the to move a set piece. We open up the decoration mode, bring the decoration mode window up, and we have to have both it all set exactly the right way on our screens to ensure consistency. So, because if we haven't got something exactly right, it's not going to work. Everything has to be consistent. So, using that mouse pointer, we map out a set piece's exact position, and then when it's not needed on the stage, it is simply lowered all the way down. It's just dropped away. For those of you familiar with the decoration system in LOTRO, you'll have those 4 different values that you can adjust. You got the rotation, you've got a reset x-axis, you've got a y-axis, and you've got a z-axis. And with our set pieces, we map out to the pixel what each of those values are. And then to
speaking
raise
of blooper, I was going to say, just let me put in there. Speaking of blooper reel, one of the rehearsals we had, the snowman moves, he's in one place in one scene and another place in another scene. and it got mixed up, and the snowman popped up in the middle of the bed.
Yep, it does happen. Which leads us to an interesting innovation that we're doing with this show, talking about raising the bar. This could also fit in that section. But previously, we've only ever done really one decoration per hook. So we would have a set piece, it would go into a hook, we'd map it out, and that's where it would stay. Now, these sets that we've designed for Frozen are so complex, and we have so many different set pieces that we actually have more set pieces than hooks. So we had to work out a system to allow us to swap decorations out, and I'm going to use standard BTC language here. Swap out set pieces and finagle them into position while with nobody seeing in the front to be ready to pop up into the correct
Yeah.
position.
No one sees all that work.
Yeah. Yeah, so Thando and I are not at all bored down here. We're not on stage, but we are constantly doing something back here. It's very interesting, and it was an interesting process to come up with. But you'll be I think the audience will be very impressed with what we've been able to do here with a system that honestly was never meant to do this.
So how are we doing this then, Hildy?
Yeah, you got the snowy tree ready to pop up? We'll pop them up
It's
on
popped.
Yeah. Okay, and then just let me know when you've got it ready to go, and then I'll do a 3, 2, 1 count.
Oh,
He already
well,
put it up, so
I thought you
put
wanted
it
it.
back down. Okay,
All right.
sorry.
Put it back down and
That's
we'll
okay.
demonstrate how the
Put
stage
it back
manager
down.
manages.
Yes, let's do a
Yes.
hot set swap. As a matter of fact, in that case, Maloa, I think I will turn that over to you.
Yeah. So I'm the stage manager for this show. So let's get the snowman down, please. All right. And typically, if we have a set piece where they either need to coordinate by an action that the actor is doing, or if something has to come up at the same time, we will do a count in and timestamp it so that everybody knows what's going on. So here we go. Here's your count in. Set, 3, 2, 1, go. And like magic, it appears on stage. All right. Can you, well, I'd like to talk about why there is a piece of thing sticking out of the wall here with the ladder.
Okay.
Piece of thing.
Yeah,
More.
I film all of our shows to create a director's cut movie later, and this is where the cameraman sits. He gets up here, and he has a good view of the stage. And when we're actually performing, this set of stairs over here will be removed, so nobody else can get up on the perch. I used to have him sit up here, but then people would stand in front of the camera and things. They didn't know he's a camera. So when we went to build this stage, I turned a lot of it over to Hildy and Thando because I knew they knew what they were doing and they didn't need a ton of hand holding by me. But I said there are two things I must have. I must have a pit, which was down below, and I must have a camera perch because the cameraman has to be able to be unobstructed throughout the whole show. So that's why that's there.
And so you guys know we also film all of the rehearsals to help us go back through and fine tune and dial in things even more. The only other spot that I think is interesting back here is the green room.
Oh, yes, I was hoping you would do that.
Let's
Yes.
go check out the green room.
We'll do the green room and then I'll hand over to Thando to talk about that very dark room in the entrance. But here is the green room. Hildy, can you walk us through this? Or Thando?
When they first built this here in this particular house, our theater, for the first time, there was talk of having the need for a green room where the cast and crew are going to assemble before the show for pre-show checks and for talking to each other, for the
For
boost.
Circle.
Yes, and so we created a green room and we made it green. And so this is where the cast and crew will meet before every show, also before rehearsals, but primarily this is our spot to be behind the stage where nobody can see us and nobody can bother us, and we have each other and we get psyched up and ready to do it.
Cool.
And there is a banker here that gives access to a vault. There is a barber. It's pushed out of this room so that the actors have easy access to it for hair changes and so on.
Hair and makeup.
Yes.
And people do change their appearance mid-show.
Yes.
So
Yes. And some of the actors are not VIP, so they have access to their wardrobe and vault right here at the banker.
Can I just say one thing while we're still kind of standing near the pit here that you just did a tour of a few minutes ago? We've mentioned a lot of the people that are in the crew, but we haven't really mentioned everybody. You're going to see a lot of performers on stage, but there is a rather large crew that you will never see that are doing quite a lot of things to make the show look amazing. We mentioned that Maloa is the stage manager, and she has an extremely difficult job of keeping the show on track and everybody doing what they're supposed to do in perfect synchronization. So that's one stage crew job. That of course you're not going to see her on stage doing that, but is something important happening behind the scenes. We also, of course, have Thando and Hildy doing the stage tech, moving the sets around, which you'll see the result of their work up on the stage. But we also have some other special effects crew that are doing some things. We have uh, four bots that are under the stage in the pit that are doing lights and firework effects. And then we also have Aldakim, who is a special effects. So he's also our announcer, but he'll come backstage and do some fireworks during the show at appropriate times. And then we have a lighting specialist, which is something that really just literally adds the color to the show. We Blackening has been doing lighting for our shows, and she just does a fantastic job. So we actually have a crew, and I was uh, fortunate enough to be able to contribute by way of doing all the lighting and special effects design for Frozen, and we just have a great crew that's going to be doing all the lighting and special effects lights and fireworks that you'll see throughout the show. So a lot of people. We also have ushers that will be greeting. And Kay, is there anybody else? I don't want to leave anybody out because we have such a big crew. Obviously, we have our cameraman up on the perch there that Kay manipulates. Who else do we have, Kay, that's doing crew behind the scenes?
I'm trying to think. Let me pull up the script.
Well,
Somebody else
while,
talk for a minute.
while you're thinking, I would like to give credit to the stuff that's happening outside the game, outside the stage, where we have a web page. We make up a playbill. Our production staff does promo posters and puts together a playbill. And we want to make sure that we get that URL out there. Was it tinyurl.com/Brandywine Theater with the British spelling?
I'll be sure
And
to put a link to that in the description below for people to check out.
thank you. And we need to give credit to the efforts from the production staff. They're not necessarily in game, on stage and underneath the stage as part of the crew, but they still are part of the production crew to get that playbill together to do the promo posters. And so I wanted to recognize them as well.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned pretty much everybody. I mean, we have all the music arrangers. That was Tanis, Quinn, Violet, Thando, Hildy, Bijan, Caliphane, Renan, and Magros, Mary, me, and Theobromine slash Panny. So they produced all of the arrangements. We
Oh
talked
yeah.
about, yeah.
Well, I forgot. So yeah, I mean, I mentioned them earlier, but obviously we have the 10-piece band underneath the stage as well, which is part of the
Uh-huh.
crew. So yeah, Panny and Crispian are down here playing all the music. So yes, quite a large backstage crew.
We have our promotion team. Bijan touched on that, making the poster, making the playbill, posting that around on all their different, their Reddit or Facebook or Instagram or wherever they post stuff.
So I think this would be the perfect place to tell people, like, if you are at all interested in participating, we will find something for you to do that you have talent for. Whether it's acting or music or doing graphic design or helping with design in general or scripting, there is a lot that goes into putting these shows together, and there are plenty of opportunities for you to get involved with, however small or however big you want to set your goals for. Just take me, for example. I started off as a lonely camera woman, and now I'm an assistant director. Yes, you will get dragged in, but it will be with lots of fun along the way.
I think many of us share a very similar story, Maloa.
And I
Thando,
want to make it very
go.
clear that we accept everyone. Whatever your level is, you don't have to have any skills. You don't have to have any experience. If this sounds like fun to you, come and join us. We will find a place where you will be able to blossom and excel, and you'll have a ton of fun.
All right, let's spin that wheel and see what we do next. It's there. We can do things we've done before, so I gotta keep spinning now.
Did you want Thando to show you the room in the front?
I do. We'll do that here in a second.
Oh, okay.
All right. Wheel, you're going away. Bye bye. We've already done most of that. Let me look at what is left. We've done raising the bar, blooper, backstage tour, scripting, music production. We've done. All right, there are three more things that I'd like to do. Thanda, can you go show us that room at the entrance?
Sure. Come on back up to the front near the entrance. So back when we performed Phantom, the community manager of LOTRO, Cordovan, attended our performance. And that was really almost the first time in this theater. And it was one of our most interesting and fascinating sets with set design and with everything else. He was impressed. So he left us a Best House in the Neighborhood trophy. And we now feature it to show off that we are the best theater in the game. Well, the only theater in the game, but the best. And we've had a couple different places to put it, but this seems like the most interesting and the most dramatic place to show it off.
Cool. All right, next up, we're gonna show them what a little bit of a rehearsal looks like. So can I get everybody on stage, please? And then I believe y'all should have this. If you don't, we can get it to you. But the dance script,
The dance rehearsal script,
dance
like the practice
rehearsal,
one.
dance practice script. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get that.
Yeah, that's permanent in our poetical.
That's why I figured
next time.
everybody should have that.
I have 2 different versions. Let me check which one it is.
Count-in practice script is what it should be called. It's in the forecast folder.
I have one called dance practice.
That one should be the same one. Actually, mine is called the same thing.
Does it start with Dance Man and go to Dance Man 2?
No,
No.
mine just /dance.
Dance, Dance 2, Dance Dwarf, Dance Hobbit 2.
That's not the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must have given the other one the same title then.
So yeah, it's called Count-in Practice Script. So to show everybody, this is what the scripting looks like. Okay. You can see that we have all of like the slashes and the count-ins and all of this. So we're going to demo for you guys what it looks like in game. And you would load that into the software called Poetical. And typically we will have music going along with it. And I'm just going to maneuver my stage manager bot.
Hello, can I interrupt for a brief
Yes.
second here?
Yes, you may.
Before we actually get into the script and doing count-ins, we typically do a walkthrough of a scene. So if you could go pull up a blocking slide for your viewers.
Sure, I will do that in a second.
Okay, and then so that we know where each character is standing on the stage.
So let me.
But you notice we're such pros that we all stood in a fairly reasonable spot.
I was about to say that.
There's a few shows of experience between the group that's up here. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's pull up. I'm just gonna pull up so here's. I'll share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm seeing. So we start off typically by listing all the characters and all the different iterations that somebody's going to play. And then for ensemble, like we even color code whether there's supposed to be a female or a male character. And then we create a slide like this. So this is for Act 1, Scene 1. This is pretty much the opening scene, and we exactly position where everybody's going to stand and then where everybody's going to move to and so forth. So we do all of that choreography after we've scripted the scene to make sure that line of sight is good for everybody, to make sure chat bubbles don't overlap with each other, and that the vision of the director really comes through with this. And then all of that directions get then translated into a master script. And then from the master script, what we'll do is we'll break it out then for each individual once the master script has been sort of, kind of, maybe finalized.
Never finalized.
Let's just say there are a lot of revisions as we go. And I want to make a point about that. We talked before about how we do everything in teams and everybody is involved. So, Maloa and I tried our best to think about how to make each character come to life. But the person playing that character is the most intimate with them. And ideally, they begin to inhabit that character and really feel like they're being that character. And they'll come to us and say, I don't feel like this is the right emote here. I think I would do this instead. And we'll change the script to do that because we listen to what they're thinking about, how to best portray their character, and that brings a lot of nuance and depth to the scripting that one person or two people couldn't do on their own.
Mm-hmm. And it was, as I was learning, it's a really interesting mesh because it's not only the music, the songs, the lyrics, it's also the costuming, the set, the blocking. All of that has to come together to make a scene work.
May I
Uh,
say,
yeah, go ahead.
um, referencing the costuming, Mally and I are the costume team, as I've said, and our mandate is to fulfill the director's vision for the show in terms of what the actors will wear. And she and I can pick out this and that and the other thing and think we are right and make it look good, and we get approval from the directors. But then all of a sudden we rehearse on stage and it just doesn't look right after all. And so changes get made. Or, as Case said with the scripting, Mally and I will rely upon the actors to help us decide what they will look best in. They immerse themselves in their character and they help us pick their costumes, and we count on them to help us with that.
Mm. Kay, do you want to talk a little bit about scripting? I have the Act 1 beginning script pulled up here.
Okay. Well, there are a lot of things to think about. You can see at the top there we have actually go down to the actual first scene. Yeah. Past the announcements. Yeah. So you can see that all the things I have to think about. What's the setting? Who's on the stage? Who's going to be on who's on the next scene so that they're ready to stand by? What song is in the scene? What's the lighting going to be? And are there any items that people need to have? We've used snowballs and flower petals and snow grims and just different fun things from festivals that we use. And then the pink part below that. Well, then we have the yellow part is everybody's costume. We have to think about who's coming out in what costume. And then I have a note for the ensemble to have flower petals if they're going to be throwing flower petals. And then the pink is what the set is going to look like, and that has to all be figured out. And who's going to do it. And you can see that this one is crossed out because we actually moved when the flowering tree comes up. And then the orange are the things that Maloa has to pay attention to. She will come on and she will check that the right song is queued up. She'll call out Act 1, Scene 1, because we need to know what scene we're on. Not everybody's in every scene. It's easy to get confused. She actually sends a tell to the band leader to start the song. But she says out loud, cue music, so that we all know that the music is getting cued. And then the green shows you what song has begun playing. And then the bright green tells us what the special effects are going to be. And actually all the special effects are in their own script, but we have this here as an example. And then the stage manager will say out loud, kids getting placed behind the curtain, because we open up with young Elsa and young Anna on stage when the curtain goes out. And then we know that the curtain goes out, the flowering tree goes up, and you can see it says hook 27 x 159. So they know what hook they're moving and where they're moving it to. And you see over here, I have a comment where I've made a comment to explain why I moved that, so that Maloa knows what's going on. And then I'm telling you what blocking slide we're looking at, and that would be slide 1 of 3. And then it just goes into the dialogue, and everybody starts emoting and speaking, and using spells. Let's not give too much away, but that's what a script looks like. And you see the codes in front of each one where it says YA. When we go to split out the scripts, when I make young Anna's script, I find and replace and take out all those YAs, and that's what we call open. It opens the line so that they are clickable and poetical and can be enacted. And we do that for all 20 some scripts.
And I might add that all those 20 scripts then are pushed out into Google Docs or Google Docs, and they are live documents so that I can edit my script for Christoph, and Kay can see the changes that I've made, and she can edit my script as well, so she can see the changes that I've made. So it's a live document, and we say this 5 minutes before every rehearsal: reload your scripts. So we wipe out what you have in Discord or in Poetical, and you reload your script new. That way we have the latest and greatest, that is the collaboration of the director, the stage manager, and the person actually playing the character. So Google Docs was a real big step forward in managing scripts.
Speaking of a real step forward, Bijan, why don't you come up to the front line and we'll have a better blocking.
Oh, okay.
That looks better.
So now let's demonstrate to them how an actual dancing sequence would go. So one of the things we do at the very beginning of any production, especially when we have few people, but also as a reminder for those that may not have been with us for a bit, is to just review how to dance in unison. And so we have this little script that we're going to run through. And let me just pull it up now. Here is the count-in script. I have this loaded in Poetical. You guys ready?
Yep.
Ready.
All right.
Ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, dance. Three, two, one, dance. 3, 2, 1, dance. 3, 2, 1, dance. 3, 2, 1, stop. 3, 2, 1, dance. 3, 2, 1, dance. 3, 2, 1, dance. 3, 2, 1, dance. 3, 2, 1, stop. Perfect. So that gives y'all a little bit of a taste on how rehearsals go. Obviously, it's a lot more involved than just this, but that's how we break a very complex show down into its fundamental pieces. I have two more things left on the agenda, and that is I would like to hear a little bit from Quinn. Can you talk to us a little bit about the work that you've done to get prepared for Elsa?
Yeah, so on the preparation end, I guess most of my preparation has been doing music work, but Elsa's also taken quite a bit of time as a rune keeper specifically, because we're using a lot of the different skills in the Runekeeper tree as ice magic and as like emotes in different songs. So in order to use all of those, I had to become high enough level. And I also get the special privilege of getting to fight Maloa. You know, most people just have to go, oh, we're taking it from the top. I can actually throw hands during Let It Go. But no, like joking aside, sparring is actually the most effective way for us to be able to use all of those skills. So that's another way that Frozen is kind of changing the game, and that I don't think we've ever had a spar on stage before. And I certainly don't think we've had the stage manager involved at this level, getting to actually interact with the characters.
Yeah, we went through several iterations and trying to figure out how to make it possible so that Elsa could actually do magic on stage. And a lot of time went into testing and experimenting. At one point, we were trying training dummies, um, positioning the different locations so that we can make sure that visually it feels immersive to the audience. Kate, do you want to talk a little bit more about the immersive experience that we're trying to give?
Um, sure. Well, the idea is that you want to get lost in the show. You don't want to be thinking, oh, look, that person's doing this or that. You want to think, oh no, Elsa's throwing a spell. She's making things frozen. And that's what we've tried to do here. We've used a lot of creative tricks to make the audience feel like they're part of the action. In fact, some of the things that Miloa does will make the audience part of the action. I don't want to give too much away, though.
No, I don't want to either. They have so this is perfect place to end. You guys just have to come see the show, right? There's just so much that's going to be very special in this show that you do not want to miss. All right, so the last thing that I have on my list is I would like to do a giveaway real quick. I am doing we're gonna have two two giveaways. The first giveaway is going to be a VIP month code where you'll get free VIP access. And for that, I want to know who's paid attention. And I would like to know how many shows BTC has done. Now, those on call, you're not allowed to say. But everybody else, you need to guess in chat for me real quick. And whoever gets it right without going over will win the VIP month code. Go, type numbers in. Evie, you may participate. All right, I am just getting crickets from the audience. I will do the giveaway in the Discord then because I do not want to hold everybody up. We will have two giveaways in the Discord channel. Please hop on. We'll keep it live for 24 hours. I will also be posting there a link to the tiny URL for the show Playbill so that you guys can see everything that we've put together. Now, Kate, can you run us down just when and where the show will be?
The show will be right here in this theater, which is in the neighborhood of Skildrum in the abodes of Erebor. The address is 4 Oakenshield Way. And the show nights are Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th. Is that right?
Yes.
No, I'm
Yes.
confused.
Yep.
Okay.
Next week.
At 8 p.m. server time or Eastern time.
Yeah, get here a little early. Don't come right at 8. You want to get a good seat.
And it does fill up. We often have 50 or 60 people in the audience. So come early. And if you are coming, I'm going to repeat this, if you're coming from another server and want a little help, contact the Wandering Stars kin. They would love to help you out, help you get to the theater, help you get some pretty clothes to wear, things like that. And it's going to be a fantastic show. You don't want to miss it. It's not going to be live streamed, so you have to come see it in person.
Excellent. Well, thank you, all of you who came out today and hung out with us. I want to say thank you um, to Kay, Tanis, Thando, Bijan, Quinn, Hildy. Is that everybody?
And the frogs.
And the frogs.
The frogs, yeah.
And the frogs. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon to hang out with us. And
Thanks for having us.
yeah, and I think this went really well. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the fact that we got to share more about backstage, behind the scenes kind of activity that, people don't always understand, what goes into these shows. So, thank you so much everybody for coming, and as always everybody, happy hunting.